Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. Quite the lucky collateral, right? I didn't actually realize what happened when I was playing. I just saw a quick black flash in front of my scope, and then a double kill popped up and I saw a corpse on the ground. So apparently I shot the first guy who jumped down from the bridge above me and hit the guy in the back and killed both of them. Quite the amazing collateral that I really didn't expect, and had to watch the replay quite a few times to really figure out what actually happened. But in this video I will be talking about Battlefield 5 because EA were kind enough to invite me over to Gamescom, where I got a chance to play the Rotterdam map that will be in the beta of Battlefield 5. And for those of you interested, the beta starts on September 4th if you have pre-ordered, or September 6th for everyone else. So if you haven't pre-ordered and you want to play the beta before judging, well, you've got the chance on September 6th, and I highly encourage you to give it a go. If you've followed my channel, you know that I've always liked playing Battlefield, but that the last game, Battlefield 1, was a game that I didn't play too much. Battlefield 4 was by far the Battlefield game that I played the most, and I was very curious what I would think about this game since I wasn't a huge fan of Battlefield 1. But after playing the alpha and the stream that you guys might have seen, I quickly realized that I'm probably gonna enjoy this game a lot more than Battlefield 1, because they've taken it in the direction that I hoped they would, with a little bit more hardcore and something that differentiates it from, well, Battlefront, for instance. Because if I want something that's a bit more casual, well, I'll play Battlefront for that. But Battlefield 5 is very different from Battlefront, and that's something I want to discuss a little bit in this video. And just my overall thoughts on playing Rotterdam, the game, and what you can expect from it overall, especially if you play the previous ones. Before I get into the actual thoughts and the details, I just wanted to show you something quick here in the beginning. This is actually some gameplay from the RTX 2080 Ti graphics card that I had a chance to capture at an Nvidia event before the actual main capture. As you can see, the reflections in the floor and in the windows are incredible due to this new technology and graphics card. But to be honest, that's really the only difference I noticed, the reflections. So the rest of the gameplay you will see in the video will be with normal 1080 Ti's without the RTX reflections. And the only main difference that I did notice was the reflections in the floor, obviously, and also in the windows. There was actually a couple of us who ended up shooting the windows when we were playing on the new graphics cards, because we thought our own reflection was actually an enemy. Because those reflections don't exist at all if you play with just the normal 1080 Ti's. So I thought that was quite interesting. But now over to the actual gameplay. So I'm not the best Battlefield player, since Battlefront has always been the game I play the most. But I did actually manage to get quite a few good streaks, which is the one you will see here. And for me personally, my two favorite classes were the Assault and the Recon, which is basically, well, the Assault is like the Assault in Battlefront, and the Recon is like the Specialist, the Sniper. And sniping in this game is pretty tricky, because they've reduced the damage quite a bit on the sniper rifles to do roughly 55 or 60 damage on a body shot, which is not a lot, to be honest, because even if you hit them, you still need to hit them 2 or 3 times with your pistol to finish them off. But if you do land those headshots, you will get a very, very satisfying one shot. And that's what you will be seeing a lot of in this clip, where I'm using the Kar 98 with the long range scope, I think it is. Versus the gameplay you'll be seeing with the Assault, it's a little bit more aggressive, of course, rushing in and killing a lot of people. So what's the main difference between this game and previous Battlefields, or Battlefield 1 to be more specific? Well, since I'm not a veteran player, I will not be able to judge these minor differences in gun mechanics and things like that. The gun mechanics feel great, but the two main things, the absolute main things that you really notice in this game, and that completely changes the way you play, is the health and ammo. Because in previous games you regenerate all your health fully and you have quite a lot of ammo. But in this game you spawn with roughly 2 magazines for your gun, sometimes 3, and you also do not regenerate health automatically. So this means that as soon as you run out of ammo, or as soon as you get shot, you need to find a medic to heal you up, or a support to give you ammo. But there are also health crates and ammo crates spread around the maps, usually around the actual capture points, so you don't have to rely on them. But it really encourages team play and squad play a lot. And when we were playing at the event, they made sure that the 4 PCs next to each other were actually in the same squad. So we kept screaming out, "Oh, need medic, need ammo," and so on, which was really helpful. But you can also use the in-game commands, which actually worked pretty decently, I gotta say, because I did play with some random squads that were not close to me, and when I used these commands to call out for ammo or health, people did most of the time notice that and actually throw me some ammo and health packs, which I was quite surprised about because I didn't think people would be that helpful, so to say. People tend to just kind of care about themselves when they play games. But yeah, so that's really the main thing, that when you spawn, you can get maybe 2 or 3 kills. It obviously depends a lot on how well you actually aim, but for me, when I was not using a sniper, I'd say I'd managed to get maybe 2 or 3 kills before I had to find some ammo or shoot with my pistol, which usually ended up with me dying. So this means that you cannot just run and gun straight in there, mow down everyone, keep on going, but you need to take a step back, play with your squad, may potentially find some health packs or ammo boxes until you can continue. So that's a very different pacing compared to, well, Battlefield 1, I would say, and obviously games like Battlefront 2. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it really felt like every little thing you did, every shot you take, every bullet that hit you actually mattered, because you knew you had to react on it. You had to find new ammo, you had to find new health. You will not just automatically or magically get all of it back or have unlimited ammo. But that can also make things more frustrating, because if you do end up dying multiple times in a row without getting a kill or without doing anything, there's a lot of downtime. So there's kind of both good and bad things to this, obviously. It's not as casual as Battlefront 2, so if you're not a very good player, you might find it to be quite frustrating to play the game, versus if you're like me and you're an average to good shooter player, you'll probably enjoy it, because you'll be able to get these eventual kill streaks, which just feels so good when you get in a game like this. And obviously, as you can see, we were playing Conquest here, and well, for me, Conquest is really the main thing I want to play in Battlefield. They do, of course, have the new ground operations that were also in the alpha, but to me, Conquest was really the most fun, because I've played so much Galactic Assault that has these phases and almost linear gameplay, but Conquest is just the same map you play on for the entire round, and you can go off to the side you want and say, hey squad, let's go to E and capture that. And that's the thing you just never get in Galactic Assault, and that's why I wasn't too interested in the ground operations, because to me Conquest is the thing that I've missed the most, and that's what I want to play the most. And something I want to note as well is that it does actually feel a little bit empty when I'm playing, as you can see, or at least in some parts of the map. And that's something that I'm not entirely sure if that's intentional or if it's more about the fact that we didn't really have full servers all the time. Unfortunately, some people didn't turn up to the actual capture events, which was a bit of a shame, of course, but most of the time you could find people to fight. But you never got these crazy rushes where there was 10 people running at you at the same time, which I guess to some degree was pretty nice, actually. And I of course have to bring up the V1 rocket, because the squad leader in a squad can call in different reinforcements based on the points or score they get. I'm actually not entirely sure what that's called, but you can see it down in the corner, and it's something that increases whenever you capture objectives, kill people and things like that. But most people, most of the time, saved up their points to call in the V1 rocket, because that thing is so amazing. Like, I remember the first time I saw that in the alpha, you might actually remember that clip. I was like, what's that sound? I have no idea what's going on. And then all of a sudden it goes straight down into the ground, a massive explosion then kills me. But that sound combined with the explosion is incredible. They've even got that delay between the actual explosion to the sound like in reality, which just makes it even more epic. And as you can see right here, if you're fairly close to the rocket but not close enough to die, you actually get knocked down on the ground just by the kind of shockwave, which is really epic. And although I've now heard it probably 50 times, I still look up in the sky every time I hear that sound to see where is it gonna land, because I want to see it explode. I would say it's similar to the thermal imploder in the first game, where everyone was amazed by it and everyone loved the thermal imploder sound, but this one is a lot bigger, obviously, and I think this will kind of be the thermal imploder of Battlefield 5, if that makes sense, because everyone keeps looking up at the sky as soon as you hear the V1, and then you can just level a building with the ground with it, basically. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of calling it in here, because I was kind of unlucky to never become the squad leader, but you can obviously see a lot of explosions in the background going down and killing people anyways. So what are my plans for Battlefield 5 then? Well, I'm not gonna do a lot of video coverage of it, I think, simply because there's already so many other good channels out there, like Westy, Flagfire, Lossy, Jack Frags, Tactical Brit, just to mention a few, who knows every little detail about these games and will cover those kind of things. But what I'm interested in is playing the heck out of this game and enjoying it, and that's why I'll be streaming a lot of Battlefield 5. So I hope that's something you guys don't mind, because obviously I got a lot of good feedback in the alpha, and a lot of you have asked me to stream the beta, so that's what I'm planning to do. Shift a little bit in between Battlefield 5 and Battlefront 2, obviously, based on your feedback. But I think that wraps up my thoughts really on this game and what I thought about it in its current state. And I know a lot of you might be skeptical towards this game because of the simple fact that, yeah, they probably took a lot of developers from Battlefront 2 to work on this game, and I will admit that's something that always is in the back of my head whenever I play this game, knowing that the resources that was put on this game probably came from Battlefront 2, which doesn't make it feel good. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna play the game or I'm not gonna enjoy it, because that would just mean that the resources are wasted, basically. But I will admit that that is always in the back of my head, since we had a very rough post-launch for Battlefront 2, and that's also something that's interesting and that I will probably discuss in future videos once we actually know more about it, the post-launch of Battlefield 5, because so far there's a lot of things that are unknown. There's no roadmap or something like that, and they've actually gotten quite a lot of flack in the marketing when they have answered regarding the post-launch, because people keep bringing up, well, look what happened to Battlefront 2. And I think that's good. Don't let them get away with it. Show that neglecting one game will reflect on your next game. And what I'm talking about here is mostly the launch of Battlefield 5 and that kind of content. The post-launch I will judge separately once we actually know more about that. But yeah, I could go on rambling forever, and I will probably ramble a lot more in my live streams. But I hope that gives you an idea of what I thought about the actual gameplay and why I thought it was better than Battlefield 1 and why I'll probably play it more than Battlefield 1. But if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer as many of them as possible. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.